The anomaly did not announce itself. No alarms, no warning lights, no sudden spikes on the displays. That was the first problem. On the Helix's main screen, the calculations aligned too smoothly. Trajectories converged, margins collapsed into near-perfect overlap. The system produced a solution before anyone could clearly identify the question. Ray noticed it first. He always noticed silence where noise was supposed to exist. "Run it again," Ray said. Leah didn't look up. Her fingers moved automatically, routing the same data through a different solver. The result came back unchanged. "You already know what it's going to say," Kram said. "I know what it should say. That's not the same thing," Ray replied. They ran the calculation again, then again. Different models, different assumptions. The numbers refused to drift apart. "That level of convergence is statistically unreasonable," Leah said. "Unreasonable how?" Kram asked. "As in the system behaves as if the answer already exists," she replied. No one spoke for a moment. Outside the Helix, space remained indifferent. Stars held their distance. Time continued, pretending it flowed the same in every direction. Ray expanded the data window. "If this isn't a calculation, then what exactly is it responding to?" he said. They traced the alignment backward, not through space, through correlation. The system wasn't pointing to a location, it was pointing to a constraint, something anchoring the solution so tightly that error simply could not enter. Leah isolated the variable and froze. "That can't be right," she said. "What?" Kram asked. She rotated the projection. Out of the abstraction emerged a structure, not an image, not coordinates, but a mathematical footprint, so familiar it felt almost absurd. Ray recognized it instantly. "No, not that," he said. The model stabilized. A label appeared on the side panel, automatically generated by the system. Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramid. For several seconds, no one spoke. The name on the panel felt heavier than it should have, as if the system had revealed something personal rather than historical. The Great Pyramid had no reason to be here, embedded in a calculation meant to describe orbital behavior and temporal drift. It didn't belong to spaceflight data. It didn't belong to Helix at all. "This is a correlation artifact," Kram said at last, "a pattern the system is forcing because it wants one." Ray didn't answer. He was already pulling secondary data streams into view, stripping the model down to its bare assumptions. One by one, parameters disappeared from the display. Environmental noise, gravitational variance, observer bias. Each removal should have destabilized the solution. It didn't. "It's not collapsing," Leah said quietly. "It should be," Kram replied, "at least partially." Ray nodded. "Which means the structure isn't being inferred, it's being required." He rotated the model again, this time not to inspect the shape, but to test its resilience. He shifted reference frames, inverted axes, even introduced deliberate asymmetry into the data. The pyramid's mathematical footprint bent, adjusted, and then returned to its original form, as if correcting itself. "That's not behavior," Leah said. "That's constraint." She isolated the variable again, the same one that had frozen her earlier. Until now, she hadn't named it. Naming things had consequences. "I tried removing it," she said. "The entire solution destabilizes." "So don't remove it," Kram said. "Replace it." She did. The system rejected the substitution instantly. "It won't accept alternatives," Leah said. "Only this value." Ray leaned closer to the screen. "What exactly is that value tied to?" She hesitated, then expanded the parameters dependency chain. Numbers cascaded outward, linking to cycles, ratios, and intervals that had no business appearing together. Some of them were astronomical, others were geological, a few were unmistakably artificial. "This isn't spatial alignment," Leah said. "It's temporal anchoring." Kram exhaled slowly. "You're saying the pyramid is locking the calculation to a specific moment." Not a moment, Ray said, a position within a sequence. That word hung in the air longer than the rest. Sequence. Sequences imply order, Kram said, and order implies more than one element. Ray didn't respond. He was already searching for what came before and after, expanding the model beyond the single point it had initially revealed. The system resisted at first, then reluctantly complied. New markers appeared on the projection, faint and incomplete, like placeholders waiting for confirmation. They didn't activate. "They're there," Leah said, "but they're dormant." "Except this one," Kram added, nodding toward the pyramid's marker. Ray narrowed his eyes. "Which means it isn't the first." Leah turned to him. "But it's the first to respond." Silence returned, heavier this time. If the pyramid wasn't the beginning, but still activated first, then the system was not following construction order, discovery order, or historical order. It was following something else. Ray minimized the projection and brought up the ARK-9 signal feed, something he had been monitoring almost subconsciously since the first anomaly appeared. The waveform looked stable, too stable. Then it shifted. Just slightly, a fluctuation small enough to be dismissed as noise if you weren't already looking for it. "Did you see that?" Ray asked. Kram glanced over. "See what?" Leah stared at the signal, her expression tightening. "It changed before you expanded the model." "Meaning?" Kram said. Ray didn't answer right away. He watched the signal settle back into its previous pattern, as if nothing had happened at all. "Meaning," he said finally, "it reacted to something we hadn't confirmed yet." No one argued with that. Outside the helix, space remained quiet, but the sense of stillness was gone now, replaced by the uncomfortable impression that something had already begun moving, not forward, but inward. Ray kept the ARK-9 feed on the secondary monitor, not because it was useful, but because it was honest. The signal had a habit of changing before logic could catch up, as if something reacted to understanding rather than action. He rewound the last minute of telemetry and aligned it with the moment Leah expanded the model. The fluctuation appeared again, subtle but precise. "It moved before we finished the thought," he said. Kram frowned. "Don't say it like that." "Like what?" "Like the signal is listening." Ray didn't argue. He didn't need to. The alignment was already there. Leah returned to the dependency chain, stripping away labels and historical references until only structure remained. Without names, the footprint lost its familiarity and gained something worse: intention. "This isn't a solution," she said. "It's a condition check." "Meaning?" Kram asked. "The system isn't asking what fits best. It's verifying whether something specific is present." Ray rotated the abstract model, not to examine its shape, but to test its tolerance. He distorted the reference frame, introduced asymmetry, removed stabilizing assumptions. The footprint bent slightly, then returned to its original form. "It corrects itself," Leah said. "That's not passive behavior." "It's enforcing constraints," Ray replied. Kram exhaled slowly. "So what are those constraints locking?" Ray gestured to the timeline overlay. "Not space, time." Leah nodded. "It anchors the calculation to a position in a sequence." The word lingered between them. Sequence. "Sequences imply multiple points," Kram said. Ray expanded the model beyond the single anchor. Faint markers appeared, incomplete and unresponsive, like placeholders waiting for activation. "They're there," Leah said, "but they're dormant." "Except this one," Kram added. Ray narrowed his eyes. "Which means the pyramid isn't the first." Leah looked at him. "But it's the first to respond." That contradiction settled heavily. If the system wasn't following construction order or historical order, then it was obeying something else entirely. Leah pulled up conventional explanations, not because she trusted them, but because she wanted to see what they prevented. Dynasties, rituals, burial practices, every question answered just well enough to close the discussion. "The explanation is too complete," she said. Too complete how? Kram asked. It leaves no gaps, Leah replied. No reason to ask what the structure does. Ray considered that. It turns an instrument into a monument. The ARK-9 signal shifted again, not sharply, not enough to be called a spike, just enough to be noticed if you were already watching. Ray froze the feed and overlaid it with their last exchange. The fluctuation aligned with Leah's sentence. It reacts when we approach the right interpretation, he said. Kram shook his head. Or you're projecting meaning onto noise. Then explain the timing, Ray replied. Leah stared at the waveform. It's not reacting to what we do, it's reacting to how close we are. Silence returned, uneasy and alert. Ray kept his eyes on the signal. If this is one point in a sequence, then the sequence isn't about history. It's about readiness, Leah said. Kram didn't argue. Instead, he asked the only question that still made sense. And what happens when we reach the next point? Ray didn't answer immediately. We stop guessing what this system was built for, he said at last, and start finding out what it's protecting. The projection stayed suspended between them, quiet and unresolved. The pyramid's footprint remained stable, indifferent to scrutiny, as if its role had already been fulfilled. Whatever it was meant to confirm, it had done so the moment they noticed it. Ray minimized the structure and expanded the timeline instead. Without the visual anchor, the model looked incomplete, almost nervous, as though it preferred certainty over abstraction. If this is a sequence, Ray said, then order matters more than location. Leah nodded slowly, which means we've been looking at these structures the wrong way around. Kram frowned. Explain. History treats them as endpoints, Leah said, finished objects, completed stories, but this behaves like a checkpoint. Ray adjusted the scale. The pyramid's footprint didn't move, but the surrounding markers shifted slightly, rearranging themselves in response to the new framing. It's not waiting for us to find it, he said. It's waiting for us to reach it. Kram crossed his arms. Reach it how? Ray didn't answer immediately. He was watching the way the system resisted simplification, how every attempt to linearize the data resulted in distortion. The order refused to settle into anything familiar. You can't read this like history, he said. You have to read it like a process. Leah isolated one of the dormant markers and attempted to activate it manually. The system rejected the command without hesitation. It won't respond out of sequence, she said. That's a safety measure, Kram replied, or a filter, or both, Leah said. She pulled up comparative data sets, not of architecture, but of systems designed to prevent premature access, encryption layers, progressive authentication, fail-safes that didn't block entry outright but delayed it until certain conditions were met. This feels familiar, she said. Ray followed her line of thought. Because it's not trying to keep everyone out. It's trying to keep most people out, Leah finished. Kram exhaled. Great, so the greatest monuments in human history are access controls. Ray allowed himself a brief, humorless smile. Or warnings. The ARK-9 signal flickered again, not sharply, not urgently, just enough to confirm that the conversation was brushing against something relevant. Ray froze the feed. It reacts when we talk about order, he said. Kram shook his head. You're correlating coincidence. Then let's test it, Leah said. She brought up a simplified model of the sequence and deliberately inverted two of the dormant markers. The system hesitated, then destabilized. The pyramid's footprint wavered for the first time since it had appeared. Undo it, Ray said. She did. The model stabilized instantly. Silence followed. It enforces the order, Leah said quietly. Which means the order exists independently of us, Kram added. Ray stared at the restored projection, and independently of history. Leah felt a chill that had nothing to do with temperature. If this sequence was never meant to be read as a list of monuments, then it was meant to be followed, Ray said. The implications settled slowly. Not discovery, not interpretation, movement. Kram broke the silence. Followed by whom? Ray didn't answer right away. He looked at the dormant markers again, at the way they hinted at connection without revealing direction. By whoever reaches the point where guessing stops working, he said. The ARK-9 signal shifted once more. This time, it didn't return to its previous pattern. It held. The model no longer felt theoretical. Whatever ambiguity had surrounded it earlier was gone, replaced by a quiet insistence that something had already been decided. The pyramid's footprint held steady, not as a revelation, but as confirmation, a checkpoint passed, not a destination reached. Ray reduced the projection to its most minimal form. No labels, no historical references, no geometry recognizable at a glance. What remained was a sequence of constraints, each one implying the next without revealing it. "It's not showing us where to go," Kram said. "It's showing us when we're allowed to know." Leah studied the intervals between the dormant markers. They weren't evenly spaced. They followed a rhythm, subtle but deliberate, like pauses in speech that carried meaning of their own. "This isn't a path," she said. "It's a progression." Ray nodded. "Which means the next point won't activate because we look for it. It'll activate when the conditions repeat." "Repeat how?" Kram asked. Leah didn't answer immediately. She overlaid the sequence with unrelated datasets, not to find a match, but to see what didn't belong. Planetary cycles, precession, long-period oscillations in Earth's field. Most of them failed instantly. Then one pattern lingered longer than the rest. Leah froze the display. "That's not coincidence." Ray leaned in. "What are you seeing?" "A recurrence," she said. "Not tied to a place, tied to an alignment." "Alignment of what?" Kram asked. Leah hesitated. "Of conditions, environmental, observational, technological." Ray straightened. "Meaning the builders didn't need to predict where we'd be. Only when we'd be capable of noticing," Leah said. That realization shifted something fundamental. The sequence wasn't guiding explorers across geography, it was filtering civilizations across time. Kram let out a slow breath. "So the pyramid wasn't meant for us specifically. It was meant for whoever reached this level of detection," Ray said. The ARK-9 signal pulsed faintly, not as a response, but as an acknowledgement. Ray brought the feed into focus and adjusted the scale. A new feature emerged. Not a spike, not a message, but a change in coherence, as if the signal itself had narrowed its attention. "It's locking on to something else now," he said. "Another point?" Kram asked. "Not yet," Leah replied. "More like a direction." She traced the shift backward through the model. The change didn't originate from the pyramid's marker. It originated from the gap between markers, from the interval itself. "The sequence doesn't care about the structures," she said. "It cares about the transitions." Ray felt the implications settle in his chest. Then the next point won't look like the first, and it won't announce itself the same way, Kram added. The system updated quietly. No alert, no emphasis, just a subtle reweighting of probabilities, favoring a narrow band of conditions over all others. Leah watched the numbers converge, not to a location, but to a window. "Whatever comes next," she said, "it isn't lost, it's waiting." Ray kept his eyes on the signal, waiting for the sequence to move forward. The Helix drifted on, unchanged from the outside, but inside its systems, the order had shifted, and with it, the direction of everything that followed. The convergence settled into a narrow band, precise enough to be unmistakable and fragile enough to feel temporary. The model no longer searched, it waited. Whatever condition had been satisfied was already beginning to decay, like a pressure differential slowly equalizing. Ray watched the tolerance values tighten, then loosen by fractions that shouldn't have mattered and somehow did. "It's drifting," he said. Leah adjusted the scale. "Not drifting, closing." Kram leaned closer. "Closing what?" Leah didn't answer immediately. She followed the decay back through the dependency chain and found no structural failure, no computational error. The system wasn't breaking, it was completing something. "A window," she said. "Not a state, a window." Ray nodded, "Which means we're late by default." The projection confirmed it. The pyramid's footprint remained intact, but its influence diminished, as if its role had been fulfilled the moment recognition occurred. The model no longer depended on it to remain stable. "That's not supposed to happen," Kram said. "If it's a key, it should stay relevant." "It was never a key," Leah replied. "It was a validator." She minimized the structure and focused on the interval that it opened and was now fading. The numbers there were unstable, fluctuating between coherence and noise. "The sequence advances by recognition," she said, "not by arrival." Ray felt the weight of that settle. "So finding it changes it." "Which means no one ever gets to observe it twice," Kram said. The ARK-9 signal shifted again, not abruptly but decisively. Its coherence increased, not in amplitude but in focus, like a lens narrowing. Ray froze the feed and overlaid it with the moment the window began to close. The alignment was exact. "It's synchronized," he said. "Not with the structure, with us." Kram exhaled. "That's not comforting." "It's consistent," Leah said. "The system isn't guiding us through places, it's guiding us through thresholds." She pulled the final data set into view, the residuals left behind after the window collapsed. There wasn't much, just enough to imply direction without confirming it. "There's still a bias," she said, "toward a different configuration." Ray followed the trace. "Not a location, a condition," Leah replied. "Similar, but not identical." Kram looked between them. "So the pyramid was never meant to be revisited." "None of the points are," Ray said. "They're meant to be passed." The Helix's systems registered the change and adapted quietly. No alarms, no flags, just a recalibration, as if the ship itself accepted that the context had shifted. Leah closed the auxiliary panels one by one. "If this window closes completely, the model will normalize." "And the sequence?" Kram asked. Ray kept his eyes on the last remaining trace. "The sequence doesn't reset." The trace dimmed, then vanished. For a moment, the display showed nothing unusual at all. Then a new constraint appeared, faint, incomplete, not yet active. Not a point, not a structure, just the suggestion of a different requirement, one that shared none of the pyramid's geometry. Leah stared at it. "That doesn't belong to anything on Earth." Ray didn't correct her. "It doesn't belong to anything we've already interpreted," he said. The ARK-9 signal held steady now, as if it had moved on to a different phase entirely. Kram broke the silence. "So this is over?" Ray shook his head. "This is confirmed." Leah looked at the empty space where the pyramid's influence had been. "And whatever comes next won't look like history." Ray let the thought settle, then said quietly, "It never did."